are very unnecessary is when the hero gets shot and he forgets about it a minute later.
Totally.
Like the rundown,
Totally.
he forgets about a bullet wound. In that XXX3, which I like because Donnie Yen and Tony Jaa are in it, but Donnie Yen gets a gut shot and then he forgets about it. You think he dies, and then you see him later on just walking around. And,
my God.
15 minutes later.
In theory, you can survive a bullet wound to the stomach for hours, but it's incredibly painful, and your body is filling up with blood and in the cavity, and also just expelling all this extra blood. You can't just get shot in the stomach and, you know what? Get your ass to Mars. It's not going to work.
They forgot about it.
Yeah. There are so many of these movies where that happens. But again, this is 1990, so late 80s, early 90s. These guys are supposed to be invincible, you know?
Yeah.
Marion Cobretti, you know, he ate bullets, man. These guys don't care. They don't care.
You know what I learned? Comedians during this time were super invincible too. So Ace Ventura in '94 caught bullets with his teeth, right?
He stole that from The Last Dragon.
And
That's
Austin
awesome.
Powers, he had mojo that could freeze robots to death.
Yeah.
So I mean, there were a lot of comedians too in the '90s who could have joined the Avengers.
Oh, listen, the mojo was apparently like Professor X's telekinesis or something, man. It's just insane, you know, because he's got those awful teeth, you know, and just too much body hair, and he's just able to do incredible things. He wasn't like Inspector Gadget clumsy.
You can steal his mojo too, so it's like a quantity that you can take.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Also, I love when I was a kid. I don't know what you thought about this when you saw it in the theater, but when Arnold pulled the hologram and everyone shot at him, and Arnold was just dancing. It was Arnold dancing, pretending to get. So he's hanging out and he's doing this dance.
Exactly.
And that was a fun moment. And why did the guards not shoot each other? Because they're in a circle shooting at each other through a hologram.
You think this is Quaid? You're wrong. You know, even his laughter, ha 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 ha, and it has an accent. I love this man. I love this man.
You could tell he loved making this movie, and he supported Verhoeven. I've always felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think he can definitely pick his directors, but movies like Last Action Hero, True Lies, I think he does, if he trusts a director, I think he's open to whatever they have for him.
Yeah, he goes all in, man. These are pretty high concept movies that he was making, for what it's worth.
Yeah, and I like that he tried different things. You could see that Arnold wasn't content being, you know, the Austrian oak. He definitely wanted to expand his roles.
Yeah. The thing you appreciate about him is, for all the jokes that we had growing up as kids, you know, oh, this guy's accent is hilarious. A lot of good acting comes from the eyes. And his eyes are never dead. You know what I mean? When he delivers a line, he looks like he means it, man. His face is very expressive for all the muscles, you know. He's actually a good actor. I'm not saying, you know, he deserves an Oscar or whatever, but I mean, he put the work in and he delivers great performances, accent or not. You just want to laugh at his accent. You can be a jerk like that, but he's good. Maggie, the zombie flick.
Oh yeah, dude, he's so good.
Dude, I was really surprised, man. You feel for him, you know, and he still gets to do the classic DDT neckbreaker move, murder, but this time it's with pathos.
With pathos. I'm really happy that they originally wanted to make it like a Raiders of the Lost Ark goes to Mars. And I'm happy they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I love the visual effects when he takes off that lady's head when it freezes, the X-ray machine. For 90, this movie was really advanced as far as visual effects.
Well, again, man, it goes back to Rob Bottin, you know. There's always the weird in every Rob Bottin movie. There's always a scene where the head looks fake as hell. And today that would have just been CGI something. But even those scenes, it doesn't break your feeling that you're immersed in the film. You know, the suspension of disbelief. RoboCop, you know, when they put the coup de grace on Alex Murphy, and at least if you get the uncensored version when they just blow his brains out, you know, the head looks kind of weird, but by that time you're so horrified because they've shot him 1,500 times, it doesn't matter. And then it takes off the head thing. Head looks kind of weird. Still awesome because Bottin, man.
Yeah, this movie. I found a really cool article on AV Club, and I just want to read you an excerpt. He wrote, "This was strange and heavy stuff, especially for 1990, and it's a measure of Verhoeven's virtuosity that he was able to pull all this off while still making sure the movie worked as a gleefully nasty mainstream entertainment. His pacing is impeccable, plot twists arrive right on time, Benny, and someone has to deliver a big dump, and when someone has to deliver a big dump of expository dialogue, it always happens in some sort of dazzling, weird way. Like, for instance, Schwarzenegger's past self talking to him on a video screen, or the mutant leader Quato, a tiny, slimy, deformed person growing out of another person's belly, telling Schwarzenegger what he needs to know before imploring him again and again to open your mind. The movie even drops the idea of ancient Martian technology on you and expects you just to accept it and keep moving. And because this movie is so fucking fun, you just go with it."
This is the truth, man. When you start to see that creepy hand, and suddenly, mind blown, aliens exist on Mars. Holy wow. Just wow. The Tribinium, actually, the Martians, wow. It's amazing.
And then he
the whole thing.
puts his hand in there, then all the air comes out and saves everybody. You know, I think when I first watched this movie, I was probably 10. And I saw it late at night, and I was kind of tired, because whatever. I still watched the whole thing, of course. But it all felt like a fever dream of just a weird experience for me, right? And I think that's, I don't know. I like what that guy said about it was gleefully nasty mainstream entertainment. And Schwarzenegger was down for it, and I love that.
Well, the thing about it is, the 80s, the late 80s going into the 90s, great time for sci-fi / horror, you know, beyond the Friday the 13th and all of that stuff. People were really rolling the dice, taking chances, you know. What's a creative sci-fi film that's come out recently that's not just been a ripoff of The Matrix or just taking design cues from Aliens? You know what I mean?
Oh, so what we're saying, like a big budget, right? Like a big budget.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I think this movie cost like $68 million to make or something at the time.
Yep.
And there are still times it looks kind of cheesy, but it's who's doing that? You know what was it? Valerian and the ancient taco.
I actually really enjoyed that because the movie is what $150 million movies and everything was on the screen. So
it was.
I dug that. You know, Edge of Tomorrow really rips off Groundhog Day, but I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
but
that one was based on a manga, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But I guess none of them play as ambitious. How's that for a term?
No, basically, because this movie, look, once he's done with his construction work and goes into Recall, the movie just takes off, man. It's just balls to the wall. Who can you trust? Oh, by the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to murder somebody with his bare hands shortly, so relax. It's an amazing movie. Amazing.
Yeah, it made what 261 million in
Absolutely.
90. So I mean, adjust for inflation, you're talking 350, 400, something like that. I mean, that's a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just a joke.
It was interesting how 90s were so actor led, if that makes sense. So you had go see the latest Julia Roberts picture that makes 400 million. Go see the Will Smith movie, Adam Sandler movie, Jim Carrey movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Sylvester Stallone movie, Tom Cruise movie.
And, you know, and to the credit of people, you know, that doesn't work anymore because we would have so many Jai Courtney movies, and thank God we don't, you know.
Well, you're firing shots today. Denise Richards, Jai Courtney.
Look, man, there was a little mini internet movement of stop trying to make Jai Courtney a thing, and I was all about it, man. You know, the other guy, Charlie Hunnam.
He is in Lost City of Z. It's a James Gray directed movie with Robert Pattinson, who's also very good in it, and Tom Holland, the latest Spider-Man. And it's a very contemplative, beautiful to look at, sumptuous film. And if you watch that, you'll see Charlie Hunnam's got it. Because it's a really he lost a lot of weight. He went different for it at least. So I'll give him credit. I won't lump him in with that one.
So he went full Leto, Jared Leto in this movie, Lost City of Z. He's all method.
No, but he doesn't look like. So I feel like when Jared Leto even goes method, I still feel like he's acting. Like method acting is supposed to be immersive, but this one, I don't know. It was good, but I also think James Gray is a very good director, so I think he got the best out of him in there. But
I feel like Pacific Rim is $1 billion movie if Charlie Hunnam is not the star.
Yeah, but I feel like. Well, I know I have a theory that Guillermo del Toro just wrote because he was supposed to make Mouth of Madness, and then that got taken away from him at the last minute. And so I think he just hammered out Pacific Rim overnight, then fell asleep on the computer, and his head typed out the rest. And then he just said to the studio, who was feeling bad, Robots vs. Monsters, and they're like, yes! And then he had 5,000-page binders on the rust on robots, but he didn't focus anything on the characters.
That's right, because that's not the point, man. I want robots fighting monsters.
And they delivered, but the characters in Pacific Rim are very... And I always wonder why they just didn't put like mesh over that one hole, because they're just coming from one place. But never mind.
Yeah, that's another podcast. I agree.
but this movie, I think it explains a lot. It makes a lot of the choices. Even the guy from Recall, who's in the commercial talking about Recall, shows up in Quaid's apartment, saying that you're stuck in your head. So this movie, it's smart. I mean, and even at the end, Paul Verhoeven says, I just wanted it to be very kind of postmodern. I didn't want to clarify anything. I shouldn't like this. There's no true. This is not true. I want. What do you think? And that is the thing, because we said earlier, that there were a lot of dumb movies that came out at this time, and they were all just about blowing things up and killing people, but the CGI wasn't there yet. But this movie definitely rolls the dice, and there are a lot of twists, but they're not Shyamalan twists where, okay, that's weird. They perfectly fit. Character motivations and everything are there, man. It is great. Yeah, Benny's... I felt betrayed when Benny killed Quato.
Yeah, because Benny, you look at Benny, and Benny is not a rich guy.
Yep.
The teeth are all jacked up. You know what I'm saying? That vest needed a wash. How can you be a bad guy, Benny? You got 5 or 6 kids to feed.
Who need to go to the dentist.
They're clearly not listening when you tell them to brush twice after every meal.
Well, hey, anything else you want to cover on this movie?
Man, look, while we've been talking about it, I've had it playing in silent in the background, and here comes Quato, man, and it's gross. It is amazing.
It's so...
Good God, it is gross.
It's so juicy.
Oh, he's just moist. That's the word, moist. Ugh. Oh, God. Quaid, open your mind. Oh, my God. His cornea is like purple. What is happening? Oh, Jesus.
They do think he's George Washington.
It makes so much sense. Oh, brother, man. Total Recall is amazing. Absolutely.
I'm so happy you suggested this, because you said the commentary, and I'm a big commentary guy, so I had to listen to it. So this was fun. Our next one, we're talking about Demon Knight. I really want to talk about Demon Knight. So we're doing Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Sadler.
That's right.
Pinkett.
That's right.
Zane.
And Phil. Hey, man. Nice shot. Oh, yeah.
I'm a little worried, though, because I haven't watched it in a while, and I love the scene where Thomas Hayden Church spits on the creatures and they yell at him and his hair blows back.
Yes.
I remember really liking that scene.
Please believe me, the movie holds up as a horror movie, and it's got the little 90s touches in it, man. I'm not going to blow it for you. I know you've already seen it, but I'm telling you, the movie holds up, brother.
Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be good. So, hey, this was fun, man. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Norbert Morvan, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. Wait, I need a Keith David quote to send us out.
For Mark Hoffmeyer, Norbert Morvan, this is Keith David. Movies, Films, and Flicks, goddammit.